Hey, it is a huge honor today to be podcast interviewing Diane Johnson Krueger, who I have ran into so many pediatric dentists over the last decade that just think that you were a godsend because you were pretty much the first person to realize that a chrome steel crown is not that pretty. And moms feel bad when they look into their child's mouth and they see all these chrome steel crowns, and I've had moms cry when they saw them, and I've taken, clear back in 1987, sometimes the mom would get so upset that we'd take an impression and send it to the lab to make some baby crown for, baby tooth number A or whatever. So I really want to congratulate you for all that you've done for dentistry and all that you've done for pediatric dentistry. I really think it's an honor. In fact, I want to read your bio, Diane, and I hope you're making a lot of Krugerrands off this too, by the way. And she says she started her career in dentistry as a dental technician and lab owner, after which in 2005 she turned her focus to dental products manufacturing. During the late 80s, she heard a lot of dentists talk about how early childhood caries was continuing to be a very serious problem, and how treating this disease with stainless steel crowns or composite restorations was extremely unsatisfying and frustrating to them and their parents. And in fact, one day, a pediatric dentist came into her office with a handful of stainless steel crowns in his hand and told her that this was really the only option they had for restoring anterior teeth, and especially for anterior teeth, it was just not a good option. So in her dental laboratory, she decided that there had to be a better way, and she determined right then and there to find it. So in 1991, she had developed and introduced NuSmile Pediatric Crowns, the first aesthetic pre-veneered pediatric crown, the first preformed pediatric crown that looked and functioned like actual primary teeth. Today, 25 years later, she's the world's largest and most trusted manufacturer of aesthetic pediatric crowns, and over 4 million NuSmile restorations placed. Man, that's got to make you feel good, Diane. Our team is passionately dedicated to supporting the field of pediatric dentistry, and she's honored to be able to provide her valued customers with the best products and service possible. She's able to do that in large part because of the family-oriented culture here at NuSmile, where the team members are actually family members, such as her son, Jason Johnson, who's the chief operating officer who oversees the manufacturing operations, or her brother, Mark Benford, who's her senior vice president of new product development, and many other dedicated talent employees. Diane, seriously, thank you so much for spending an hour with me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Howard. Thank you.
So you're in Houston?
We are in Houston,
which really got a huge population bump after Katrina. I hear so many people actually went to Houston.
Yeah, that's actually that's very true. We did get a big population bump, and most of those people that came stayed. So in Houston's a good place to live. People enjoy being here. It's an economical place to be. Housing's affordable. Cost of living is relatively low. It's just a great city.
Well, hey, let's start with you're talking mostly to general dentists. I have no evidence that there's any pediatric dentists listening to you, so sorry about that. Almost about 100% of all the emails I get at howard@dentaltown.com about this show, they're usually young dentists, and they're just devouring these things. So let's just get right to the muscle of this. What exactly is a NuSmile crown?
Okay, so we actually have, there are two types of preformed aesthetic pediatric crowns available today that are in relatively wide use in the dental marketplace. The first would be the product that we originally developed in 1991, which is a preformed, pre-veneered stainless steel crown. So that's a stainless steel crown that has a tooth-colored facing, which is usually some type of composite or thermoplastic material.
Okay, you say facing. Is that just the facial or a 360 wrap?
Yeah, on an anterior crown, it would be the facial, extending a little bit to the incisal and into the proximal areas. On a posterior pre-veneered crown, the coating, the tooth-colored coating, would cover the occlusal as well as the buccal surface of the crown. So So that is the type of crown that has been used since roughly the early 1990s. Although now our NuSmile pre-veneered crowns, what we call our NuSmile signature crowns, are a fifth generation product. So they're a much different product than they were when they were first introduced in 1991. It's a very durable, very aesthetic, very easy to place restoration. So the second type of preformed aesthetic pediatric crown is a pre-made zirconia crown. And that would be, for our brand, that's called a NuSmile ZR crown, ZR Zirconia. And they are just incredibly aesthetic, incredibly durable. As your listeners would know from adult restorations, they're just really unmatched as far as durability is concerned, and the aesthetics are just great with these crowns. And we're able to manufacture these crowns in a very thin dimension, so that really the amount of tooth reduction occlusally on a posterior tooth and would be about the same as for a traditional stainless steel crown.
So basically, when you put a chrome steel crown, or what is the generic name for a chrome steel crown now that they're not all chrome?
Stainless steel, SSC, stainless steel crown, yes.
But a zirconium wouldn't be a stainless steel crown.
No, it wouldn't. It would not. So there are ADA codes, the CDT code book, for placing a primary stainless steel crown, for placing a pre-veneered crown, that's D2934, or placing a zirconia primary crown, a pre-made zirconia primary crown, and that's D2929. But that is different.
Okay, say those codes one more time, because so go through those codes one more time. So a CDCT code for a stainless steel crown SSC is what?
Actually, I'm not sure what the code is for an SSC.
Or whatever you said.
But for a pre-veneered crown, the pre-veneered crown, which would be our NuSmile signature crown, is D2934.
D2934.
D as in doctor, 2934.
Okay.
And then for a preformed zirconia primary crown, that would be D2929.
What is the difference in cost between just your standard stainless steel crown that you're popping on baby tooth A versus a pre-veneered versus a preformed zirconium?
Yeah. Okay, so a stainless steel crown is going to be roughly in the a little less than $10, $8 to $10, I suppose, probably around $8 per crown for a standard stainless steel crown. A pre-veneered crown is going to be about twice that much. And then a zirconia crown is just a little bit more. In our case, the case of NuSmile, a zirconia crown is $4 more in the US and Canada, where we sell direct, than a pre-veneered crown would be. So there's only a $4 difference between the pre-veneered and the zirconia.
And I think the mothers would just, I mean, that has to be the best $10 she spent all year, because they, our society has so much judgmental and guilt and all that stuff like that. And when a mom looks into her baby's mouth and is taking her out and she's got little gold earrings on her and she's dressed her up all pretty, then she smiles and she sees all this stainless steel, she actually feels like she's a bad mom, that she did something wrong, baby bottle tooth, whatever. And the guilt and the shame is horrible.
Right.
And I am that. Do you know the pediatric dentist that's your biggest fan up in Calgary?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Was that Calgary or Winnipeg?
Well, she actually practices in Winnipeg.
Okay, Winnipeg. I lectured Winnipeg and then Calgary, so I'm getting them all mixed up. She's in Winnipeg?
She is. She practices in Winnipeg.
And what was her name?
Carla Cone.
Carla Cone.
Yes, yeah.
She is just an amazing. I did a podcast interview with her, and she is so darn intelligent and so smart, and she just thinks you're probably the greatest woman in pediatric dentistry. I mean, she just sings your praises all day long. And I wanted to get you on here today because to all my homies listening, I mean, you just don't put a chrome steel crown on a baby tooth because it's gonna make the baby not like its mouth or be embarrassed. The mom's embarrassed. Everybody's embarrassed. And so many dentists call themselves a cosmetic dentist and then plop on chrome steel crowns. A cosmetic dentist isn't putting veneers on mom. It's putting tooth colored restorations in babies so that they like their mouth. And the effect I've seen with that is that you notice in America, you either don't own a bowling ball and you haven't been bowling in 10 years, or you own a bowling ball and you're in a league. You either haven't been to the lake in 10 years, or you own your own boat and go to the lake, 10 weekends a year. And I noticed the same thing back in 87 when we started tooth whitening people. The people that bleach their teeth, all of a sudden they're on recall and they're getting their fillings done and they got into their mouth. And if they're not into their mouth, then they're not motivated to brush and floss, and they're just not into it. It's kind of an all or none thing. And your entire NuSmile has more to do with mental health than dental health. And if you can tell that mom, okay, so we got behind, we got a bunch of cavities, and we got to do a bunch of work and everything, but they look good and they're cosmetic, and then they're fired up and into it. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree. And for your audience, I think that probably the posterior aesthetic crowns are really a great option, and they're going to be used for more of the patients that your listeners would see rather than the anteriors, because the anteriors would be usually used on much younger patients. But even on a posterior tooth, mom is often just horrified at when she sees a stainless steel crown. And stainless steel crowns are certainly a great restoration. They're durable, they're easy to use, but zirconia crowns really are as well. And most doctors are charging a little bit more for a zirconia aesthetic posterior crown than they would for a traditional stainless steel crown. It might be $100 or $150 more, but if mom wants an aesthetic option, she's really happy, usually, to pay that difference.
And it means a lot how a baby looks to its mother. I remember when I was born, my mom looked at me and slapped the doctor. Um, so, so you sell direct in the United States. I'm just curious. Do you know how many pediatric dentists are in the United States? I'm thinking it's around what, 4,000? Is it about?
It's between 6,000 and 7,000
Six and
practicing.
7,000. See, that's the problem with getting old. You learn all these numbers when you're in dental school in '87, and that they all change. So, of those 6 to 7,000 pediatric dentists in the United States, what percent of your sales direct in the United States go to pediatric dentists versus the hundred? And how many general dentists do you think there are in the United States?
About 175, 100, maybe a little less than 175,000 general
So
dentists.
what percent do the 6 to 7,000 pediatric dentists buy of these, and what percent do the 175,000 general dentists
Yeah,
buy?
so pediatric dentists are probably 80% of our
Hmm.
customer base because they're doing a lot of pediatric dentistry. I mean, it's not unusual for a pediatric dentist to place over 100 crowns in a weekly period,
And would
because
and would you rather place 100 pediatric crowns or just go straight to hell? If you had the option, which one would you pick? I think I'd go to hell.
no, no, I think they're really good at what they do,
Oh
and
God.
they're doing a great job, and they're really good at placing crowns. So I don't
That's
think it's any problem for them at all.
I see that when we go to these missionary dentistry trips. We always take a dozen dental students from the school AT Still, and you go down there, and everybody runs from all the crying kids, and then out of nowhere, there's just this one junior in dental school, and I remember last time we were in Adiak, and it was just this boy and the baby be screaming, he just smiling and petting it, and it's all right, and we all jumped on him, told him you have to be a pediatric dentist because what you did is just not right in the head. I mean, you for some reason you're immune to this, and he says, yeah, I really like it. So you either just like it and get it, or you don't.
Well, also, I think that what your listeners probably need to be aware of, if they're not already, is that with the Affordable Care Act, that's really changed the landscape of the need for more dentists treating kids, because literally there are millions more kids that have dental insurance coverage now. And the 6,000 or slightly more pediatric dentists that there are in this country, I mean, that's just not enough to treat all of the kids that need care. So generally, pediatric dentists are really happy to have general dentists seeing more kids, doing a good job with those kids, treating those children according to doing good dentistry, treating those children according to AAPD guidelines, using caries risk assessment, those tools that they should be using when they're seeing children, because truly pediatric dentists just can't see all of the kids that need this care. And caries is still on the rise in the U.S. Early childhood caries is the #1 chronic disease of childhood, and it's not really improving. So there's a huge need.
So explain to the listeners about the Obamacare. Why, especially is that basically with Obamacare, if you sell a health insurance plan, the children have to be covered up to what age?
Howard, you're getting a little beyond what I know that I could tell factually. So I really don't know what the
But
age.
I've already been reading. California is already having many congressional hearings because the demand is just crazy. They don't have nearly enough providers. So you listeners, I mean, you could be doing this. I mean, pediatric dentistry is on an exponential growth curve because it's being subsidized by Obamacare, and it's standing room only. In fact, California, they thought their latest best idea on that was they were going to significantly raise the fee schedule to because the economists were saying, well, if you just pay more for it, you'll get more supply of providers. So they're what very seldom does the government committee get together and raise all the fee schedules. So the fee schedules are being raised for this, and they will continue to raise them until they either get more supply of providers. So how do my homies order these? They go to NuSmile.com, NuSmile.com, and you sell direct.
We do sell direct. Of course, we've got, they can call on the phone too, but we do sell direct in the U.S. and Canada. We don't sell through Henry Schein or other distribution channels in the U.S. and Canada. We like to have that direct customer contact, be able to help customers with our products should they need help. And we like to get feedback from customers as well. So U.S. and Canada, we are direct, but we do have over 40 distributors around the world where we really cannot be effective selling direct. So
Yeah, and I don't think I don't think the Patterson, Shine, Burkhart, Benco rep. I mean, how can they come in and explain 60,000 different items? I
right.
mean, it seems like the people that sell direct, and even when you go into companies like Dentsply, even their management will tell you their divisions that sell direct, like Tulsa Dental Products, it's just so much more robust, and connected. And so I applaud you for selling direct. I think it's a cop out. Just say, yeah, we'll just make it, throw it in a catalog, and let these dentists figure it out themselves. So these dentists, my job on these things is always try to estimate what the heck they're thinking. So they're probably thinking, how do you prep a molar and have a zirconian crown that it's not flexible. It's not like a chrome steel crown where you just bite into it and it crimps on. I mean, there's zero flexibility in this chrome steel crown. So how do you prep that to have a solid preformed fit?
Right. So with both the pre-veneered crowns and the zirconia crowns, the tooth has to be prepared to fit the crown. Obviously, the crown does not flex or adapt to fit the tooth. So there will be more circumferential reduction needed than for a traditional stainless steel crown. And one of the really the really important things about our NuSmile ZR, our Zirconia crown system, is we offer a complete system. We actually sell the crowns as a complete system. So within the kit of the Zirconia crowns, there is a pink try-in crown that comes in each of the slot sizes. So that you've got the actual tooth-colored crowns in each of the various sizes and different tooth positions, but you also have a pink try-in crown. And the pink try-in crown is an exact duplicate of the actual tooth-colored crown, but the try-in crown is used for the preparation of the tooth and trial fitting, so that your listeners will know, most of them will know because they've probably been placing adult zirconia restorations, that saliva and blood contain various phosphate groups that are actually chemically attracted to and will bond to zirconia surfaces, interfering with cement retention. And what we know from working with pediatric dentists, and they're placing hundreds of crowns a week, and I oftentimes, well, always with a child, I mean, you want the procedure to be as quick and as simple as it possibly can be. So we provide these pink try-in crowns so that once the try-in crown fits nicely in the mouth, you take the try-in crown out and you load the actual tooth-colored crown out of the box, the matching tooth-colored crown out of the box with cement. The first time it goes into the mouth is when it's being cemented onto the patient. So there's no extra cleaning steps to remove the hemorrhage or saliva from the inside of the crown that's been used for trial fitting. There's no extra cleaning step to remove the phosphate groups that are bonded to the zirconia surface that interfere with cement retention. The first time the actual zirconia crown goes in the mouth is when it's being cemented. So
You can also reduce bleeding by strangling the kid. You'll close off the carotid arteries, and there'll be no bleeding. I'm just kidding. You know what I really wish you would do? This is you got one of the greatest pediatric dentists in the world, Carla Cohen, up in Canada, that just loves this. You should get her to build an online CE course showing them how to do this. We put up 350 online CE courses on Dentaltown. They've been viewed over 500,000 times.
wow.
And you know what I also wish you would do is you know why I named it Dentaltown instead of Dentisttown? You know, I own Dentaltown and Orthotown. Now, the orthodontist, they won't let anybody go on the site unless it's an orthodontist. I mean, I can't even go on the site. I own the damn thing. You know, it's orthodontist only. But Dentaltown, my vision was that, you know, if we're using your product and it's red and we're all sitting there thinking, God, I wish this was blue. Well, to make dentistry better, you would have to know that. And so when I started Dentaltown, all these dentists started getting mad because they were saying, well, these non-dentists are getting involved. And I said, dude, if you close down 500 dental companies around the world, we'd be sitting outside on a rug with stuff we bought at Home Depot. It's companies like you. I mean, it's single-handedly you that made cosmetic dentistry go to pediatric dentistry. And if you search NuSmile on Dentaltown, I have it on my app. I mean, there's literally 100 threads on my, read these. My first NuSmile Zirconia. One of my first NuSmile, I mean, it just goes on and on. NuSmile Zirconia cementation, thoughts about NuSmile. I mean, it just goes on forever. And I think if you would post on there is like, hey, I'm Diane, I'm the damn owner. I'm the one who made these damn things. They love that. They hate buying from a faceless institution. That's why they don't like government, because they say, like the post office, the IRS, they don't know who owns that. But when you say Apple, they know Steve Jobs. When you say Microsoft, they know it's Bill Gates. And if you got on there and plugged your pretty face and said, hey, I'm the one who makes these things, and start communicating with them, I know it'd explode your sales. I mean, the best marketing you can do in 2015 in the industry is not with money, it's with time. And I really wish you'd get on there and post. And do you think you could talk Carla into making an online C course on how to do these?
I can work on that. Sure.
Yeah. Twist her arm, because she's a great lecturer. She lectures every month somewhere. So is there like a starter kit that you buy that has all this, or you just buy, You know, what is an intro kit for one of my homies that have never done
Yeah,
one of these?
so we have some really small kits, and they are per, they're configured per tooth position. So it's either first primary molars or second primary molars. They come in a small kit, which contains only 16 crowns. It's just really a minimum inventory of the crowns that a doctor would need to just kind of dabble a little bit. There's a medium-sized kit with 40 crowns, and then there's a much larger kit with 84 crowns.
And how
So
much are the prices of each of those kits?
I they range in price, where the crowns within the kits are around $18 per crown in the kits when you buy them initially. And then on reorders, they're a little bit more when you're ordering just individual crowns, and you can order just one crown at a time if that's what the doctor wants to do or needs to do.
Now, do you also make conventional stainless steel crowns?
We do have, we're just introducing a conventional stainless steel posterior crown, not for anterior teeth, but only for posterior primary teeth, because we've heard from our customers over the years that they would really like to have available from NuSmile a just a traditional stainless steel crown that's reliable, easy to place, is pre-contoured, and is offered at a reasonable price. So we do have a pre-contoured medical grade stainless steel, laser etched on the lingual for easy ID purposes that we're just now introducing. We're real excited about that.
Nice. And what do you recommend cementing these zirconian crowns with? Because you know, when you go around the world, there's such a difference in cultures. Like, you know, you go to a dental company in Germany and they got 6 PhDs and they don't have a telemarketing department and they don't know anything about advertising. The Germans just believe if you build it, great, they'll come. You go to American companies, they don't have any PhDs, no engineers, and they have a 30-person call center and spend 6% of their revenue on marketing and advertising. And another huge difference is the Americans, everything's inert, you know, inert fillings, inert cement. But when you go to anywhere around Japan, they think, well, man, this is a biological problem. Let's sit there and use cements that have calciums and fluorides and phosphors, and that Japan thinking overflows into Australia and New Zealand and Hong Kong, and the Americans still, you know, 99% of their fillings don't have one bioactive ingredient in it because they think they're mechanical engineers when they build this engineering barn in a field, and they don't realize that 6 years later the termites come back and eat it. And if you made that barn out of stainless steel like a dental implant, now you don't have to worry about recurrent decay. So what are your thoughts on bioactive, especially in kids? I mean, you must have a lot of Streptococcus mutans in your mouth if you're needing pulpotomies and chrome steel crowns, right?
Yeah. Well, so we had the question, and honestly, when we initially introduced NuSmile ZR, we did a lot of research, a lot of testing on NuSmile ZR, as far as the zirconia material, the particle size, the fracture resistance, in various thicknesses, the density of the material, the manufacturing process. We did a lot of testing, but what we didn't do initially was learn everything that we needed to know about cements. But after we introduced NuSmile ZR, we had questions from pediatric dentists about, well, what's the best cement to use with this crown? So we had to go do that testing. And so we did test resin cements, resin modified cements, traditional glass ionomer cements, and what we found is what most cement manufacturers recommend is true. That either a resin cement or a resin modified glass ionomer type of cement is the best option for use with zirconia. Traditional glass ionomers, while they're easy to use and used by a lot of pediatric dentists and work great with traditional stainless steel crowns, traditional glass ionomers do not do not adhere well to zirconia. And because you will likely have some areas, because you don't have a snap fit, you have a passive fit of the zirconia crown, so you'll likely have some areas where you're counting on the cement to fill a slightly open margin. The glass ionomers are water soluble and will tend to wash out over time. So resin modified type of a resin modified glass ionomer is generally what we would recommend for use with any zirconia crown. But because of our testing and research, we actually had trouble finding a traditional resin modified glass ionomer that was really easy for pediatric dentists to use, that would set quickly, because time is of the essence when you're treating pediatric patients, and would work well in a field that wasn't absolutely dry and pristine. So we did develop our own cement. It's called NuSmile Biocem, and it actually is a bioactive cement. So we're really excited about the bioactivity of Biocem. And we call it actually that it's a symbiotic. That is our term for the bioactivity of Biocem. And what that means is that this bioactivity goes beyond just fluoride release, which is the most common bioactive component of any type of cement. It's actually threefold. Symbiotic is a threefold term because there is a unique chemical composition to Biocem that includes both calcium and phosphate ionic species, which actually form hydroxyapatite that's available to integrate with and replenish the tooth structure. So we've got this hydroxyapatite formation with Biocem, and secondly, Biocem also releases and reabsorbs calcium, phosphate, and fluoride. So it's got this three different types of ions that contribute to the health of the oral environment. And thirdly, Biocem is hydrophilic, so it actually seeks out moisture and thus sets up an environment where there's this continuous ionic release, as well as the environment is conducive to this hydroxyapatite continued integration and replenishment in the oral environment.
All the pediatric dentists I know, they say you're extremely research driven. That's not usually what you see in an American company. It sounds like a German company. Is Krueger German?
It is German. But
did I call this? I mean, you go to Germany and you walk into companies like Sirona and Ivoclar and Cavo. I mean, that's just an entirely different level of manufacturing than when you go to any place around the world. I mean, when you go to China, the whole motto is just cheap. Just make it so cheap they'll buy it. The Germans are so different, and you're German. I think there must be a correlation and a cause and effect. Krueger. But yeah, so what is your thoughts on research? Because every pediatric dentist I talk to thinks you're extremely research driven.
Well, we think it's very important because we know that our customers trust us, and we just don't want to do anything that could just diminish that trust. So before we introduce a product to the market, we do a lot of testing. And we did that with our NuSmile ZR crowns. We've done that with Biocem, and it's just extremely important so that we know if we put something out on the market with the NuSmile name, the NuSmile brand, that it's going to perform the way that our customers expect it to perform.
And another thing that I think is weird about American dentistry is, last year, it was $105 billion the Americans spent at the dentist. You'd think for $105 billion, if it had been like a Fortune 500 company, 3-4% would have been on R&D. You think there'd be a national deal, $105 billion, that there should be a $5 billion R&D department just to vaccinate Streptococcus mutans. And our government just doesn't get, they should be saying, God, at $105 billion, we should spend 5 billion just on this one bug. I mean, and it's I wonder if you and I will live long enough to see a vaccination for Streptococcus mutans like they did measles, mumps, and chickenpox. You think we will?
I don't know. I mean, it'd be a wonderful thing for dentistry and for the kids, but I don't know.
So now I'm wondering, what kind of car do you drive?
I I have a Mercedes.
Oh, German all the way.
Yeah,
She's
it's
German all the
German.
way. I drive a Lexus, so I must be more prone to glass ionomer. And you're more of that manufacturing. So another thing you got, you're just launching the Neo MTA. Tell us about that.
Okay. So, well, as you probably know, for many years, most pediatric dentists have used formicreosol for pulp therapy. But formicreosol has now been banned in a number of countries due to possible concerns about toxicity. And we know.
Does that include the United States?
No, it hasn't been banned yet in the U.S. So.
But it's definitely on a carcinogenic list, or on many people's carcinogen list. I mean, it's not just toxic. I mean, it's many people put it as a carcinogen, something that could cause cancer. So I mean, you just can't use it. I mean, if you're listening to this and you're using formicresol, your mom dropped you on your head and never told you. Just throw that shit away. It's the same with Sargenti. I mean, the Angelo Sargenti of Italy had that paraformaldehyde root canal that saved millions and billions of teeth. But I just saw another lawsuit settlement last year that was for the max, $1 million, because somebody's using Sargenti. You just can't use formicresol. You can't use paraformaldehyde. So what is yours?
Well, what we are introducing, and I have to say that I am not personally aware of any studies that have proven formicresol to, as it's used in pulp therapy, to actually cause any toxicity. However, I know it's a concern of many dentists, and it has been banned in some countries. But we do know that many pediatric dentists and dentists that are treating kids would prefer to use would prefer to use an MTA material, a mineral trioxide aggregate. But the problem has been primarily cost. It's been really expensive to use in a pediatric dental application.
Now originally that was pool cement, wasn't it? Swimming pool cement?
Portland cement.
Portland,
Yes,
Portland.
That's correct.
And who was the guy? There was an endodontist out in what was he? UCLA or USC that started that? It's an Iranian name, Torbason. What was?
I do not recall, but you are correct.
Yeah, he's a great guy. But anyway, so yeah, Portland cement, when it came to the endodontist, was just, I mean, it was more expensive per gram than cocaine. I've been told by pediatric dentists. I don't know this myself, but yeah. So you were able to make Portland cement lower cost?
Yes. So we now have NuSmile Neo MTA, and it is at an affordable cost that is very close to being the same cost as using something like formicresol. So it's actually very reasonable per application. It runs right around $4 per application.
Now, is this a thick mixture that the endodontists are using when they use MTA?
So MTA can be used for different types of pulp therapy. It can be a direct or indirect pulp cap. You can use it for the pulpotomy procedures as well. And you can mix it. Our MTA comes in a powder and gel form, and the powder is in a desiccant-lined bottle, so you can scoop out just as much as you need and then mix the gel into the powder. And you can mix it in a thin or a thick consistency. Most clinicians for a pulpotomy prefer a slightly thicker consistency, and this will mix to a really nice putty consistency that you can roll in your hands. So there are a couple of other things about MTA traditionally that have been difficult for pediatric dentists aside from the cost. Um, the setting time has been long. It's not been easy to mix or handle, and our Neo MTA, NuSmile Neo MTA, is a quick setting, easy to mix and handle. You can dispense just as much as you need, so you don't have to use an entire compule or a foil sleeve of material. You can mix just as much as you need. But another really exciting thing about NuSmile Neo MTA is that it's non-staining. So it is a white MTA material, but what has happened with MTAs in the past is that, especially on young permanent teeth, if you were doing a procedure on an anterior tooth, over time that tooth would turn dark if you used a traditional MTA material. And so obviously that's not very aesthetic, but with NuSmile Neo MTA, it's non-staining. The tooth will not turn dark over time.
So what you're saying, you're selling this for $4 an application, MTA. Yeah. What do you think the endodontists are spending per application when they use their endo MTA?
Depends on what products they're using, but typically they're spending in the range of more than $10 per application up to as much as $30 per application.
Wow. Now, I just did a search for MTA on Dentaltown, and there's literally 100 threads on MTA, and I'm just posting, how much are you spending on MTA? Did you know you can buy it low cost from the pediatric dentist company? www.nusmile.com. Now, see, that's why you should be posting on that. You could be asking, you could be saying, you could be bouncing with them on this. I just posted on there, but I mean, when you say MTA to a general dentist, it's kind of like bone grafting. I mean, there's so many things that cost $100 a gram, and when you start saying bone grafting and these dentists are placing implants, they're like, yeah, it'd be nice to put a little around here, but then you cringe like, well, I don't really want to go to the refrigerator and open up a $100 bill and shred a Benjamin in the paper shredder. And when you say MTA, and you're thinking, but that's congratulations on making a low cost alternative to that.
Yeah. We're really excited about it. And
so who would be your product champion for MTA bone? You know what you ought to do? You ought to get a pediatric endodontist. Is there such a thing?
I do not know one personally.
Or do you got a pediatric instructor and it? Well, I don't know. Maybe Carla could put that into her deal. Maybe she could do it on zirconium preforms. And does she use the MTA?
Yes, she does.
Yeah, because that, I mean, what a pearl to my listeners today to be finding out they can find a low-cost place for MTA. And you think MTA endodontics, you don't really think of it as from a pediatric dental company.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know it's something that our customers have been wanting. It just hasn't been feasible for them. So now it is. So we're really excited about that.
That is amazing. So you're also big into actually even the organized dentistry part, the Pediatric Dental Association. Why are you into that, and how has that worked out for you?
Well, we're a smallish family-owned company, as we've talked about, but we've really prided ourselves in being supportive of pediatric dentistry and what's important to our pediatric dentist customers. And so we know that organizations like the American Academy of Pediatric Dentistry, the Canadian Academy of Pediatric Dentistry, the European Academy of Pediatric Dentistry, Mexican Academy of Pediatric Dentistry, it goes on and on. But over the years, we've been supportive of those organizations and have provided some corporate sponsorships and funding for different initiatives with those groups. And it's something that we're really happy that we've been able to do. And over the course of 25 years, that support has reached now about $2 million in support from our company.
You've given them $2 million?
Various organizations over the years, yes.
Well, man, you are an amazing woman, Diane. That is just amazing. My best friend, who's a dentist, Tom Adder, who practices down the street from me, his daughter she's about to graduate from pediatric dentistry in New York. What do you think the state of the profession is for pediatric dentistry? Obviously, Obamacare was a massive macroeconomic game changer by mandating that all health insurance cover kids at the dentist, which is standard operating procedure in all advanced countries like Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and that's so. What do you think the state of pediatric dentistry is? What are you hearing on the street?
I, Pediatric dentistry is booming, and actually, the American Academy of Pediatric Dentistry is a great organization. Pediatric dentists are just a wonderful group of people to work with. I mean, truly, they're doing great work for kids. They care about what they do. In a way that is really refreshing. I mean, it's about the kids. It's about their patients more than about the individual dentist himself or herself and what's in it for me. I do know that the pediatric dental residency programs are flooded with applications. There are around 80 some pediatric dental residency programs in the U.S. And I think that what I have heard is that many of these programs have received just this year applications for residency spots that reach well into the hundreds. So they're sorting through lots of applicants to choose usually it's somewhere around 4 to 8 applicants that they will take per year in a pediatric dental residency programs, and they literally receive hundreds of applications.
Diane, let me ask you a macro question on that. When I grew with 5 sisters, so I'm very sensitive to all the issues of male, female, because, my mom used to put me in blue jeans and I had no curfew. Then she put my sister in dresses, and if they soiled them, they got in trouble and grounded. And I just I could never, we lived like 100 yards from the Arkansas River. I was allowed to swim in it. They weren't allowed to be within 10 feet of the edge of the river. And I never understood at 10 years old why my best buddy's sisters couldn't swim in the river with me. But when I was little, all the gynecologists were men, and now it's just all women. Do you see the same thing happening in pediatric dentistry? I mean, not to be sexist, but is this a more female profession like gynecology, or not really? Or does sex of provider have no data or bearing on that?
No, it's definitely been shifting with a greater number of female pediatric dentists. So I don't know that it's the majority are pediatric dentists at this point, but definitely there's a greater shift towards female pediatric dentist, where it was once a male-dominated profession.
But you think it's shifting more female than just the general dentist at large population? You think it's even going more female?
I believe so.
And I pick up these little nuances, like men, pediatric dentists. They're like, mom and dad stay in the waiting room. They're not allowed to come back. Women pediatric dentists, like, I wouldn't let somebody take my kid in a room and not be there. Then the female pediatric dentists say, well, she's going to come back. I mean, I'd want to go back with my kid, and so they're different. Mm-hmm. I mean, don't you think they're different?
I think so. But I'm not sure if I would agree that all female pediatric dentists would say, "Mom, come on back while I treat your child."
Right, but the trend, is I see it going. I mean, it used to be non-existent, but now I see that trend. It seems like every time I get a small sample size by someone talking to me, at a lecture or whatever, it's a woman pediatric dentist. Mm-hmm. But So yeah, so with Obamacare, and then the fact that I've read several times that 2013 was the first year the United States consumed more calories liquid than it did eating. So the sugar consumption. By the way, the sugar consumption has finally plateaued. It got up to about 150 pounds of sugar a year per person, and then it's just been drifting there. And it's actually, it looks like it's even coming down. But yeah, pediatric dentistry exploding. You know, last year was very sad for me. No, well, last year, this is what, 2016 next week, so 2015. I think it was 2013. In 1 year, I was able to meet the first pediatric dentist in Hong Kong and New Delhi and Kathmandu. And
Wow.
it's just like, and I had dinner with them, and they were saying that when they were all my age, they were all in their 50s, and they were saying when they got out of school, kids under 6 didn't have decay.
Hmm.
And now in those countries, you tell me the age of the child, that's how many cavities they have untreated.
Hmm.
And that's us
Not
all from
surprised.
switching from water to soda.
Yeah, yeah. Influence
Just
of a Western diet.
so
And
that is so amazing. You gave $2 million over the years. You know, if you gave me $2 million, that would refund half my divorce settlement. Do you think? Do you think you could double down and throw me another
I'm not
two?
sure if you qualify as a charity, Howard.
I am a charity. I'm a charity case. What are these other organizations I'm seeing? You speak of the ICPPD. What is that?
So your listeners would be interested to know about ICPPD, the Institute for the Clinical Practice of Pediatric Dentistry. So NuSmile is a founding sponsor of that
Say it again.
organization.
What is ICPPD?
Institute for the Clinical
Oh,
Practice
clinical
of
practice.
Pediatric Dentistry. And so what this is an organization that has been founded specifically to help pediatric dentists, but also general dentists that are interested in seeing kids and doing pediatric dental procedures better, faster, I, I, and really incorporating good pediatric dentistry into their practice that's profitable. And the Institute for the Clinical Practice of Pediatric Dentistry, we've got a faculty that has a combined experience in pediatric dentistry of well over 150 years. And we are running through this organization 2 courses annually that are being called the Foundation course, and it includes some pre-course videos and also some lecture during 2 days. These courses are being held at UNLV, University of Las Vegas, Nevada, and the Foundation course also includes a lot of time in the sim labs. So the doctors are actually doing clinical pediatric procedures during the program. And that's something that we've run 2 courses to date with this faculty and gotten rave reviews from the doctors that have attended. And these are both pediatric dentists and general dentists that are attending the course, and they're separated out into 2 tracks so that if it's a pediatric dentist who just wants to learn new skills, I work with some of the newer materials that are available, but they have a lot of clinical experience in pediatric dentistry, they go into a separate track. If it's a dentist who is just starting to do pediatric procedures, then they go into a separate track as well. So it's split into 2 different tracks.
Now, did you have this in Vegas because pediatric dentists are so stressed out they develop gambling addictions and drinking addictions, and so they were going there anyway?
I No, I didn't notice that.
That-
No,
well, you know,
actually, we have it in Vegas because we've got a great partner with UNLV. I mean, it's a great facility, and
I agree.
yeah, it's really a nice place to be able to have the course.
And you know, Implants Direct has a facility there too that they rent out. They have this amazing hands-on. Have you seen the Implants Direct
I
place?
have not.
Yeah, they have one because I have our county meeting there every year in April,
Okay.
and every year 1,000 of us go there, and we can have hands-on course there. By the way, you know, um, Dentaltown has an annual meeting. If you go to towniemeeting.com, we've had an annual meeting. I think this year's 13, 14, 15, something I forgot. And but we also have meetings throughout the year just because you can't have a department that does something once a year. So to make it a department, so we've been putting on lectures. And you know what our most successful on online CE or what category online CE and our county meeting live events throughout the year is
No,
pediatric dentistry.
really.
It's with Josh Wren. You know Josh Wren?
I do not.
You have to meet Josh Wren. He's my buddy, and he's a fellow Ironman. Me and him are both Ironman, and
Okay.
you wouldn't believe it if you saw us drinking and smoking at the bar. But we're seriously both Ironman. But he's in where's
Well, I know where he is. He's in Mississippi. Is that
he?
correct?
Yeah, he's in Mississippi. You got to you haven't met him?
I have not met him.
Man, you got to. He is the. We put up 350 courses. He's the most viewed course presenter on
Really?
Dentaltown. And then we have live events with him. We went to Fort Lauderdale, sold it out in like a week. They just love him. And the reason they love him is because, where'd you say he's from? Mississippi? Where'd you say?
I know he's in Mississippi, but I don't know where.
You don't know where?
No.
But he's just this down-home Southern country boy, and he's not pretentious. He's not arrogant. He just, and he, everything is what you said. When someone tells me of a new dental product, I have 4 questions for him. Is it faster? Is it easier? Is it higher quality? Is it lower cost? And if you get all 4 of them right, you're gonna knock it out of the ballpark. And he just is into, and he explains in pediatric dentistry, when you got a kid, you might only get 3 minutes. So you just got to get in and knock it out, and there's no messing around. And yeah, he should be your new best friend.
Yeah, another thing that sometimes general dentists don't realize about seeing kids is that when they're treating primary teeth and seeing kids, I mean, these are not just little adult teeth that they're treating there, and they're not necessarily to be treated the same way as an adult tooth would be. So I'm sure that Dr. Wren speaks to that in the courses that he gives with performing a caries risk assessment and determining how many caries surfaces there are and whether or not a full coverage restoration is really the best thing for that child, and limiting the number of appointments for that child, because you really want to do a definitive treatment in many cases that you don't have to come back and redo. And you also want to, in many cases, most cases, don't want to see that child back for multiple appointments to complete the treatment. So do as much as you can in one setting.
So your email is NuSmile Crowns, is djohnson at NuSmileCrowns.com?
Yes.
djohnson@NuSmileCrowns.com. I just sent you. Oh my God, did I mess that up? Okay, so D Johnson. Here, Ryan. Here, you do this. Hit it send it to that. I'm sending you and Josh Wren an email right now. Yeah, I mean, if you're the #1 seller of these pediatric cosmetic crowns, and he's the #1 most viewed guy on Dentaltown, you guys need to meet each other.
Howard, one other thing I just wanted to mention, and thank you for this opportunity. You had a new category in the Townie Choice Awards this year, and it was Aesthetic Primary Crowns, and NuSmile took that award. So thank you very much. We appreciate that addition to the Townie Choice Awards.
Well, a lot of people say they'll say things about about whatever, and I'll say I need to see the data, because humans, they're not data research. And we've started Dentaltown in '98, and we've had monthly polling sessions. So I've been polling them every week from '98 to 2016. I mean, I'm one of the only guys that when I tell you dentists think this or that, I have reams of data. And the thing that the Townie Choice Awards are so important is these dentists in dental school, they knew that thousands of people applied for 100 seats. They know these are people that get A's in calculus and physics and biochem. You can't go to dental school and not know that you're in an elite, smart group of people. That's why market share data is so important. So when thousands of dentists vote on a product and you're sitting there and you say, oh, wow, this got the Townie Choice Award, and then you're like, well, I'm having problems with this, and then you look down. We show the whole voting. We show all the categories, and you look down and say, wow, I'm one of only 8 people using this product. No wonder I'm having problems. So market share data is extremely important with dentists. So the Townie Choice Award is just huge. I mean, it's one of the most interesting innovations we did was showing you what your colleagues think. Yeah. Whereas like a review on like a B2C market, like movies or music, I've noticed in my life that whatever the music, the movie people say is a great movie doesn't really correlate with me. And a lot of times when they say it's a box office flop, I'm like, that one might be one I should look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just different days. But yeah, I want you to hook up with Josh Wren. And again,
for the introduction.
And again, if pediatric dentistry is our most viewed subject course, you should get Carla on there and knock out some more courses on that or whatever, or maybe do something at the Townie meeting, because I really want general dentists to quit using chrome silk crowns, just because it's just hard mental health on the baby. It's hard mental health on mom, and it just we have enough shame and guilt in this society. You don't need to be putting a bunch of metal in baby's mouth and just remind to every friend that, look, I screwed up. I gave my baby too much sugar, too much juice, put her to bed with a bottle. You know what I mean?
Listen, we're happy to
Did you
help
send it?
in any way we can. So if there's anything that we can do, from NuSmile to help your doctors, your townies, we're more than willing to participate.
So now, if someone's listening to this and they want to see any explanations or whatever, does the NuSmile website have videos? Does it show any placement? Is there any information on the site?
Yeah, there is, but I would really like to point your listeners to our YouTube channel. That has the most videos, and it does have a number of clinical videos for both the NuSmile ZR crown system and the NuSmile pre-veneered crown system, NuSmile Signature. So our YouTube channel, you just go to YouTube, type in NuSmile, find the little channel icon.
YouTube.com/NuSmile.
I think you just go to the YouTube channel, and then when you get to YouTube, search for NuSmile, and you'll find the NuSmile channel.
And is NuSmile just a play on the sound NEW, like a NuSmile NEW?
It is, yeah. It is.
Well, hey, if you already got the YouTube channel videos, you've already done the work. You should roll that up into a course, because I think the reason this podcast show is a huge hit is because, number one, it's free, and they're listening to it on their smartphone, on their commute. They're multitasking to work, or they're on a treadmill, or they're working out. Everybody tells me the same thing. I got to commute to work. If they got an hour commute, it's a whole show. If they got a 30-minute commute, half there, half back. But I think the reason the online CE course is so huge is because it gives ADA and AGD credit,
Right.
and they're trying to get their FAGD, their MAGD, their state requirements. So if you've already got all that stuff on YouTube, you should just take all that content and roll it up into one course. And the guy that does that is Howard Goldstein. So I'm Howard Farran. That's why I'm Howard at Dentaltown. And Howard Goldstein, so he went with Hogo, HOGO at dentaltown.com. You should email Hogo and send him the link to that YouTube channel and start figuring out how to put all that so that when they watch it, they get AGD credit.
Yep, we've actually started that process. So I think.
Oh, with Howard Goldstein?
Yep, I think we'll have some one or maybe two things coming out this year with.
And between me and Howard, which Howard is more batshit crazy, would you say?
Well, I have not actually met the other Howard. So.
Okay, so we're going to go with it's Howard Goldstein, not me.
Okay.
And he's got to be crazy because he's an Eagles fan and I'm a Cardinals fan. So that alone proves that he's completely insane. But hey, I can't believe it's been God, we're 5 minutes overtime. We should have stopped 5 minutes ago. But Diane, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for all that you've done for dentistry. Thank you so much. I can't believe 4 million little kids got a cosmetic crown instead of an ugly stainless steel crown. I think $2 million to the Pediatric Dental Association around the world. You're the Mother Teresa of dentistry. You really are you should be called the patron saint of pediatric dentistry.
Hi. Well, actually, we're really happy to be able to support pediatric dentistry and doctors that are seeing these little kids. Not a lot of manufacturers. It's a small niche market, and the big manufacturers don't pay a lot of attention to pediatric dentistry or products for pediatric dentistry. It's just small. It's not that important to them, but is hugely important to us. And it's just a pleasure to be able to work with this group of people and do what we do.
And it speaks volumes of you that you got your son and your brother working for you.
Yeah,
that just means you're a great person. You're a humble person. You're listening. You're not playing the power card. I mean, to be able to have your son and brother work for you speaks volumes of you.
I haven't run them off yet, so that's good.
All right. Well, I hope to see you again someday.
Thank you, Howard.
All right.
Pleasure.
Have a happy New Year.
You too.